What's your everybody? It's your boy Chimpact bringing guys my week 9 matchup against Fizzy Stardust. Yo Fizz. It's got Healisk and Kecleon, brought the lizards, the reptiles. I got my own reptile, got the Politoed. Fortunately Politoed sucks against both of them, but looking at this matchup, his Toxic Spike's immunity is Scizor, and he didn't bring Salamence or Zoroark, so I'm really happy about that. Florges, not really too big of a threat because I have Tornadus and Steelix, so I got the special defensive answers to that. Toxic Spike's not really going to handle that well. You only have so many aromatherapies that you can go for, and I have Encore as well on my Politoed. I should be able to outspeed the Florges. Diancie has one switch in, and that is Scizor, and his Scizor is trapped by my Magneton. Gotta watch out for a Scarf Healisk though, because Scarf Healisk can OHKO me with Surf. And Stealth Rock getting up is going to be big because that limits the Volcanion switch-ins. And as like I would 1-for-1 trade my Volcanion or his Volcanion with my Politoed any day of the week, so I don't have to deal with that anymore. And as soon as I get rid of the Volcanion, my Steelix is able to roam a little bit more freely. The only thing Steelix is worried about is the Rhyperior. So here I'm going to decide to lead out with Diancie because I'm expecting him to lead out with either his Volcanion or his Kecleon, because I think his Kecleon is carrying rocks. I don't think it's going to be a Assault Vest, because the Rhyperior needs to be offensive because he has no other offensive pressure other than the Volcanion or the, I guess, Scizor as well, if it's a Swords Dance variant. So here he's going to switch out into Elgin, so I think that he doesn't have a Steel move, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So I'm going to just protect here, you know, scout out to see what he wants to do as he switches out into the Florges, which is fine. I'm going to switch out into the Steelix and be able to absorb any hit. And the only thing that I don't think he would double switch there because I could actually go for an attack. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for me to go and attack on his Florges with my Diancie just to gauge how much damage it's going to do. But I don't want my Diancie to take any damage because later on in the game, I'm going to need to take hits, and if I still have the Steelix healthy, why not go out to Steelix instead of letting the Diancie take damage? Because later on in the game, I'm not going to have that luxury. So I'm going to go for Stealth Rock here, and this is good. Get a little bit more pressure on his Volcanion, his Scizor, his defensive Pokemon, and I have a decent answer in this in my Politoed. If he goes for the Hidden Power, you know what, God bless, that's fine. He's not Spec, so my Tornadus should be able to handle it a lot better. He goes for Fire Blast, and it is actually Specs. 197 down to 128. That is doing way too much damage. Why? 69 damage I think that did? Whatever, man. That's so disgusting. But with leftovers, I healed up to 140, so it's not that big of a difference. He's going to go out to Scizor here. I was actually expecting the Healisk. But this is fun. I don't want to protect in case he wants to Swords Dance up because I'm fearing a Swords Dance variant. He doesn't bring a lot of offense to his team, so I'm going to expect a more offensive Scizor based on the way that his team is built. But he actually switches out, and it gives me a little bit of information. He's either not carrying U-turn because he would have went for U-turn there, so it's probably going to be an offensive variant, and he doesn't want to deal with my Politoed. Or he actually does have U-turn and he's scared that I'm going to be able to outspeed it because he needs a lot of speed investment to be able to outspeed my Politoed, because despite the fact that Mega Scizor outspeeds regular Politoed, regular Scizor only hits 65 speed and Politoed hits 70 speed. So he needs to run at least like 80 speed investment to be able to outspeed. So I know that he probably doesn't have that 80 or 60 speed investment because he's scared of the Politoed outspeeding it, and I did outspeed it last time, and I didn't punish him with the Scald Burn because he went for U-turn last time as well. So here he's just going to switch out into his Healisk, and 165 down to 71. I know that he's it looks like minus Scarf damage there, but I'm not 100% sure because he did get that crit. That crit was very enforcing. It could be timid damage as well, but because he crit me, I can't really tell. If he didn't crit me, I would have an easier time to tell how much damage that did. So that really sucked. Kofag is not going to be as useful, but I do get the Toxic Voice up, so that's pretty good. Here I'm going to switch back out into my Dat Boy, and he's going to go for the Overheat. And you know what? This is fine. 152 down to 68. So at this point in the game, Politoed cannot take a Hidden Power Grass or Hidden Power Electric, whatever coverage move he wants to hit this Politoed super effectively with. That sucks. But he actually switches out into Omega, And here I'm actually going to double switch as well. If I stayed in, I would have healed enough to where would be able to take an HP grass, but I was expecting him to go out to Healisk, and unfortunately he didn't. And man, that sucks. So here I'm gonna go out to Torn because I don't want to go out to my Steelix and get knocked off potentially. If this thing gets knocked off, that's fine. I'm not really too worried about it. He goes ahead and Mega Evolves and goes for the Defog. Sorry about that. A little bit of a spoiler, whatever. Going a little bit ahead of the actual battle. Defog's a hazard weight. It really sucks. It took me 2 turns to do that, and I basically used up over half HP of my Kofag to set up the Toxic Spikes, and another thing on his team is Poison, but I'm going to go for a U-turn here. I know he's going to fear the Hurricane or the Heat Wave. I deal around 15% to the Kecleon there, so that's cool. And here I'm going to go to Politoed. I go to Politoed here because I want him to go for Stealth Rock, because I think he has Stealth Rock on his Kecleon. And if he goes for... First of all, I get the leftovers recovery here. And second of all, if he goes for Stealth Rock on my Politoed, that's good, because he might think I'm going to go for Protect or something like that. He knows that I'm going to be a defensive variant because he knows the damage output of Volcanion onto Politoed, and he knows that I have to run at least max HP for that, even if it's not Wi-Fi, even if it's Showdown. Not Showdown, I mean. He knows that I have to carry at least max HP, so it's not carrying a lot of special attack investment, right? And he knows from the last time that I played, I ran a lot of defense and no special attack. So, first of all, heal a little bit so I'm outside of HP grass range. And second of all, put him at false sense of security to go for Stealth Rock here so I can switch out into Diancie and bounce away the rocks, if he happens to go for rocks. So he does go for Stealth Rock here, and that is pretty big. I don't think he activated Protein there, which is weird. I think you activate Protein when you do go for Stealth Rock, or maybe I was mistaken and I didn't see it. But I'm just going to go for the Moonblast there, as I do get the special attack drop. Doesn't matter. Kecleon is not going to go for a special attack, but Protein does activate there, so I'm pretty sure that it did activate. But Diamond Star was not going to be enough to knock him out, despite his defense being lower, because I don't have a lot of attack investment. I do have a lot of special attack investment though. So he's going to switch out into his Elgin Baylor? Question mark? Possibly? No, not a big wrestling fan, guys. Not a big wrestling fan. Gonna go for the Moonblast, get the drop. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I know that he's probably gonna go for the Wish here, so I'm gonna switch out into my Steelix to... did I already get up rocks again? No. Okay, so here I'm gonna go out into Torn. I didn't want to go directly out into the Steelix there because I want to be able to get this thing knocked off. And this is a good pivot anyway. So here I just go for the knockoff. I know that his Kecleon is low, so he can't bring that in. He can't bring in his Rhyperior on my Tornadus. That would just be foolish. And I knew that he had to go for a recovery move there. He actually went for Synthesis, which is questionable because I do have a rain team. Synthesis only heals 25% in the rain. But you know what? God bless you, Fizz. You do you. I do around 12% there with the U-turn knockoff combination, so that's pretty cool. I did get the drop though earlier on this Forgus, so my Steelix is going to be able to take this on no matter what. It did around 30% last time, or 30 HP, not 30%. Did around 30 HP last time, so it should do around 30 HP this time. Did 32 there, so that's fine. I'm still taking that relatively well, and here I'm just going to go for the Toxic. Unfortunately, I make a bad play and I go for Toxic. Oh, I already got it rocks because of the magic bounce. Right. So that's how I got it rocks the second time. Here I go for Toxic, and this is just a bad play because even if this Toxic landed and he didn't have the Slumberry, he wouldn't have died to the Toxic because it only does 6%. And I'm pretty sure that little bit of red HP is over 6%. So I should have just went for the Earthquake there because he's fearing me to have an attacking move, so he's going to obviously go into a Pokemon that can take a hit. So even if he went to Steelix, not the Steelix, the Scizor, that would have been bad for me. Here the Protein does activate on the Stealth Rock, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's because of Magic Bounce that it didn't activate. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. But this sucks. Now he's got Stealth Rock on the field, so Tornadus and the Kofag are pretty much dead because my Tornadus is going to be too much, it's pressure too much. So I can't really bring it in. I go for knockoff, you know, that's cool, whatever. I kill his Kecleon, but it sucks. I could have just Earthquaked that, and it would have been huge momentum in my favor. Huge momentum. I would be at full HP as well. with his Torn, and I don't know what he would bring in because I would have Stealth Wreck up, and he would probably have to be bringing in Scizor, right? And Force the Defog, whatever. So here I'm gonna go for knockoff first because of I'm fearing the weakness policy Rock Polish set. So if I went for Icy Wind, that would really suck because it would activate his weakness policy. I would have been able to outspeed it, but I don't know if 2 Icy Winds would have been able to knock him out. I do know that it does around 37 min, so 2 Icy Winds probably wouldn't have been able to knock him out. So I decided to go for knockoff there. I do live 2 Rock Blast, but he lands 3, which is pretty much above, not even above average, it's below average because you have 2 to 3 hits is average. So I go out to Diancie here. Unfortunately did not get my Torn. Torn was really not going to be that useful anyway with the rocks up. So he goes out into his Florges here, and with the rocks up, without him having leftovers, Moonblast plus Diamond Storm is going to be enough to 2-hit KO. I'm pretty sure based on this Moonblast damage that he's physically defensive, especially considering that I know he has Calm Mind with Synthesis now. So I'm definitely thinking he's going to be a max HP, max defense bold variant. I'm going to go for the Diamond Storm here, hoping that he's not running a lot of HP on his Scizor, and that this knocks him out, because he's at 67.5%, and that only did around 50%, unfortunately, so that is not going to be enough to knock him out, so I'm going to be forced to go out into my Kofag, and unfortunately because of the crit and because of my misplay, not going for Earthquake on the Kecleon, huge momentum loss, but it's not that big of a deal, it's not like a huge misplay. But I do get the Mummy and the Rocky Helmet, which is going to be huge because this is his defog user, so the Scizor is 100% dead. Unfortunately, he still has that as father, so that's bad for me. He goes for the Rhyperior again, and I'm not going to be able to outspeed this. Rhyperior naturally outspeeds me, I think. He hits 40 base speed. But I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball and be able to break the sub. Good play on his part, playing around Will-O-Wisp and playing around Nightshade, because Rhyperior has over 100 base HP, so he's going to have over 50 HP subs at low 50. So now I'm going to go out to Diancie, and let's pause it right here and take a look ahead at his team right now. He has a Scizor that's dead to rocks, he has a Rhyperior at 20%, he has a Volcanion that's vulnerable to rocks at 100%, I think, or 75%, but it's going to go down to either 75 or 50%. Kecleon is gone. Florges is at 50%, below 50%, and then the Heliolisk as well at 75% after it comes in on rocks. So Diancie OHKOs literally the rest of his team, and the only thing that can outspeed me is a Scarf Heliolisk, which I am expecting him to bring, but if he doesn't bring a Scarf Heliolisk, I just win. I just need to hit one Diamond Storm on the Volcanion. But even then, I have a way to deal with the Volcanion without hitting a Diamond Storm. So I go for Moonblast there, and he goes out into his TMGK. I know it's a wrestling name. I'm not even going to try to understand what this is. I'm going to go for Protect here. I go for Protect here because I have him in a checkmate position. I have Surf answers in the Politoed, and I have a Volt Switch answer, Thunderbolt answer in my Steelix. And if he's not Scarfed, I just knock it out, right? So I have a few switches left with this Diancie anyway, so it doesn't matter if I switch out here because I'll be able to switch in 2 or 3 more times. So here I'm just going to go for Protect, see what he wants to go for. And he has Focus Blast, dude. He has Focus. Come on, Fizzy Stardust. You had Iron Tail last time. You're hitting these Rock Blasts, you're hitting these Overheats, you're hitting these Fire Blasts. I know these aren't super inaccurate moves, but Focus Blast with all of these moves. Why are you using all these inconsistent moves? I understand that this is the only fighting move available to a lot of these Pokemon, but come on. Focus Blast? You could just play it safe with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Surf. I guess Focus Blast. Hyper Voice? You have Stab? Come on, get out of here, Fizz. I'm triggered. I'm triggered here, and there's actually 1 second left on the clock. I don't know what to click, so I click Diamond Storm, hoping for him to miss, and he misses. Justice. If he missed the Iron Tail in the last game, I would be 6-1 right now. 7-1 right now. He misses. in the last game when the Salamence against my Diancie. I know I said this a lot of times, but I'm still triggered by that. Like, why would you go for Iron Tail when you can guarantee the win with Earthquake if you had Earthquake? Here, I'm going to protect here. As I knock out the... I was so happy that I knocked out the Helios. The fact that I didn't miss. Here, I'm going to go for protect and then Magnet Rise because I know that he's choice specs. And I don't have to rely on hitting Magma Storm anymore. And he actually didn't want to miss a Steam Eruption either. So, you know what? We're both trying not to miss our 95% accurate moves. And here, I'm pretty much going to win the game. So, Moonblast, the reason why I didn't click Moonblast was, one, because I didn't really have time to calc because I was so triggered by the fact that he had Focus Blast. Like, it's really weird, but I was actually so upset that he had Focus Blast. And two, I was calculating Pokemon, how much damage it was doing to my other Pokemon instead of calculating how much damage Diamond Storm and Moonblast did to him. I knew that Diamond Storm was going to kill, but I didn't know how much Moonblast was going to do. I think Moonblast can probably do 75% to Heliolisk. But Moonblast, 100% going to be enough to knock him out. He's at less than 30% on his Florges. So that is gone. Goes out to Yao Ming. I know these basketball names, but like these wrestling names, man, like come on. I obviously I know that this is not based on Yao Ming because Yao Ming played the Rockets. And he's part of the... But you know what? He goes to Yao. It reminds me of Yao Ming. The greatest center in the world. But yeah, that's going to be the game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like. Add me on Pokemon Shuffle Mobile. Add me on Pokemon Shuffle Mobile. We are now 7-2 on a 6... Wait, are we 6-2 or 7-2? We're on a 6-game winning streak. I was at 1-2. We are 7-2, and we have we have to have the highest differential in the league because second highest is MV at 17. So even if he 6-0s, he's at 23. I'm at 24. So yeah, that's good. We play Cooper next week, and then we play Mogwai, and then we play the Klefki dude, Fufu. So we need to win one more game to guarantee playoffs because we are only 2 games ahead of Fizz. So because there are 3 games left, if he wins out and I lose out, then he is the winner of the division. But if I just win one more game, there's no way that Fizzy can catch up to me in differential because I'm at like plus 24 and he is at plus like 3 or 4 after this game, I think. I know that he's not at plus 10. So the max he can be at is at like plus 5 after this game because he lost 4 differential. So he needs to make up a lot of differential and win 2 games at least to win 3 games to match up with me, which is going to be difficult for him to do. But, you know, it's not impossible. I could get 6-0 3 games 3 times in the next 3 weeks. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Answer the quote today. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.